Hello everyone, I am Navid Ahmad. Today we are discussing about genetics. Let's move on to the introduction. Genetics. Genetics is the science of heredity. It deals with the study of characters and their transmission from parents to offsprings. Heredity refers to passing of physical and mental characteristics from parent to children. The difference between the parent and the offsprings are called as variation. For example, someone says, you have nose like your grandfather, you can talk like your father. So certain character they can transfer from parents to offspring. They carried as heredity. So difference between the parents and the offspring. So we are all differ from each other. I am different from my father. My father is different from my grandfather. So there are difference that occur between the parents and the offspring. These are called as variation. So we can collectively say that the genetics is the study of heredity and the variation. Terminology. In genetics, we use the terms like gene, locus, alleles, genotype, and phenotype. The parental generation, F1 generation, F2 generation, dominant character, and recessive character. Let's know one by one. Gene. Gene is a sequence of nucleotide in DNA or RNA that encodes the synthesis of a gene products, either RNA or protein. So it is the segment of the DNA that encodes the information required for the synthesis of a protein. Gene consists of exons and introns. Exons consist of information that code for a protein, but introns does not code any informations, so they can be removed during post-translational modification by splicing mechanism. Genes can acquire mutation in their sequence, leading to different variants. They are known as alleles. These alleles encode slightly different version of protein which cause different phenotypical traits. The existence of discrete inheritable unit was first suggested by Gregor Mendel. Locus. A locus is the specific physical location of a gene. Each chromosome carries many genes, with each gene occupy a different position or a locus. In this diagram, we observe the homologous pair of chromosomes. Here we observe the gene which is responsible for the flower color. There are two alleles are possible, the allele for white flower color and allele for purple flower. So the position of this gene is known as locus. Alleles. An allele is a variant form of a gene. In other words, each gene may exist in a alternative forms is known as alleles, which code for a different version of a particular inherited character. We may also define alleles as occupying corresponding position on the homologous chromosomes and controlling the same characteristics. For example, height of the plant, but producing a different effects like tall and short. Humans are called diploid organisms because they have two alleles at each genetic locus, with one allele inherited from each parent. Each pair of alleles represent the genotype of a specific genes. In the picture, we observe that the homozygous, heterozygous, and homozygous conditions. The homozygous condition of a dominant alleles, that is capital B and capital B. The homozygous condition of a recessive alleles like small b. And we also observe the heterozygous condition of capital B and the small b. The dominant alleles are always represented by using uppercase letters, and the recessive alleles are represented by using lowercase letter. Genotype. The genetic constitution of an organism received by its parent is called as genotype. In the picture, we observe that the homozygous dominant, that is the presence of both dominant allele like capital A, and heterozygous condition where both dominant and recessive alleles are present. The homozygous recessive where both small a is present. These are the genotype of an individual. Phenotype. The term phenotype refers to the observable physical properties of an organism. It includes the organism appearance, development, and behavior. An organism phenotype is determined by its genotype, which is the set of genes the organism carries, as well as by the environmental influences upon these genes. We can simply say that genes tells the body how to do things, but body grows based on what genes says. Parental generation. Parental generation is the first generation involving two individuals that are mated to foresee or analyze the genotype of their offsprings. Their probable set of offsprings would constitute so-called first filial generation. Here in this picture we observe that the parental generation is the first generation which involved the crossing of two individuals. F1 generation. F1 generation refers to the first filial generation. They are produced with the crossing of parental individual. The filial generation are the nomenclature given to subsequent set of offsprings from controlled or observed reproduction. F2 generation. The interbreeding of F1 generation result in the production of F2 generation. The F2 generation is known as second filial generation. In the picture we observe that the individual which is formed in the Punnett squares are the F2 generation. Dominant character. Dominant character is a result of dominant allele. The dominant allele masks or hides the expression of the recessive alleles. An inherited trait that results from the expression of dominant allele over the recessive allele. The dominant characters are round, yellow, inflated, green, purple, axial, and tall. These are the characters which are selected by the Mendel. They can be represented by using uppercase letter. Capital R for round, capital Y for yellow, capital I for inflated, capital G for green, capital P for purple, and capital A for axial, capital T for tall. Recessive character. An inherited trait that results from the expression of recessive allele. Recessive allele is an allele that exerts its effort only in the homozygous state, and in the heterozygous condition, its expression is masked by the dominant allele. It is represented by using lowercase letter. The Mendel selected the recessive character like wrinkle, green, constricted, yellow, white, terminal, short. They can be represented by using lowercase letter.